Hey guys, my name is Peter Marshall. I'm a field engineer for Imply, covering Europe, Middle East and Africa. And in this video we're going to use the coolest of cool things, Oracle VM Virtualbox Manager. In this case running on a Mac, but you can get it to run on a Windows machine. We're going to start an Ubuntu virtual machine and install the Imply distribution of Druid and get the Quickstart running. It's a great way just to play around with Druid and see what Imply Pivot can do. So I'm just hitting New, give the machine a name. We just want to make sure that the type is Linux and the version is Ubuntu 64-bit. Now I'm going to up my memory here to 4 GB of RAM. Of course, if you've got more, add more, but I would start with about 4 GB. I'm going to just accept the defaults for the disks, but what I am going to do is increase my disk space here. So for the amount of playing I want to do, I'm going to add 50 GB here, create the disk. And then there's just two settings that I want to change on the defaults. First of all, I'm going to add some more CPUs. That means I can play around with parallel ingestion, for example. And then my next setting is in networks. I'm going to, in the advanced section, add some port forwarding rules. That's just nice and easy for me. I want to be able to go to the local machine port 9095, but actually it's redirecting to the VM's port 9095. It means I can get really quickly to Imply Pivot and also to the Druid console that runs on that port on the VM. Awesome. Let's start the machine up. Now I've already downloaded the installer for Ubuntu. So on this form, I'm just going to pick that ISO and hit start, and away the machine goes. So here we are in the future. I'm now in the setup. So let's select the right keyboards, and I'm just going to select all of the defaults on this installer. I'm not going to do anything particularly clever at this point. Just giving it a cool name is about all that I really need to do. I'm not going to pick one of these snaps. I'm just going to let the installer run and the machine reboot. Now that can take a while. So while that's happening, I'm going to go to the imply.io page, click on Get Started, and fill in the form so that I can get the Imply on-premise tarball. Just filling in my first name, last name, organisation, the usual stuff, and then I can download that. Now I want to transfer that download onto my virtual machine. If you run into any issues at this point, just give one of us a shout in Imply and we'll help you complete that bit of the work. So now, back in my machine, it's now rebooted, we're ready to go. Let's start putting the prerequisites in. So, get myself in here, log in. Now, I'm in the habit of always doing an update to all of the components when I install VMs, so I'm just going to do a sudo apt get upgrade, let that run, let it finish, and reboot the machine just for good measure. Great, logging back in again. Let's now get on with installing these two prerequisites. First of all is Java, so we'll do a sudo apt install open jdk-8-jre-headless. Nice and easy, that's installed. Great, now we'll move on to installing Python, which is needed for the quick starts. So sudo apt install, and this time Python. Now just to be sure, we want to be running JRE 8, so let's do a Java version, Java-version. That's going to give me, hopefully, 1.8, which it does, brilliant. Now let's check the same thing with Python. So Python --version, and I should see 2.7. I do, awesome. Now we're ready to go. So I'm now transferring the Imply distribution of Druid onto this VM so that I can unpack it. Again, if you get any problems, reach out to us with Imply about how to do that. So here I am. You can see I've got the tarball on my machine now. Let's just unpack that. So tar -xzf, and then the name of the tarball, which in this case is Imply 310 tar gz. That's finished. Let's change into that directory. So if you're following the quick start guide for your evaluation, you'll know that the command you run here is bin/supervise -c, and then a reference to the config file, which is going to be conf/supervise/quickstart. It's more than enough to get us playing with Druid. If it's your first time with Druid, just do this, get playing with it. That's the best way to learn. On my machine here, once those processes are running, I'm just in my browser going to localhost 9095, thanks to those network rules. Get a nice little welcome message there, and straight away at the top right hand corner I can get into the Druid console, and I can also load data.